When purchasing an oceanfront condo, you want to make sure that the reserves can cover any future project or at the minimum offset any special assessments that might be issued due to those projects. Now, additionally, you want to make sure that the reserves from the HOA budget are enough to cover the HOA expenses. Finally, if there aren't any ongoing special assessments or heavy amounts of projects, over the course of that year or two, maybe they've got 3 to 5 projects going on at that oceanfront resort, you want to make sure that you are getting a bargain on that deal or holding off until all of the special assessment work has been completed, all those projects are done. That way you're not incurring the cost of the special assessments, but purchasing a unit after they're done. That way that you're not holding that burden and it's not impacting your bottom line. Instead, you're buying an oceanfront condo that has had a ton of work done because you waited till the year after everything was finished to make your purchase. Now that's just a taste of what's coming up in this video. Let's get into Myrtle Beach condo investments, 10 tips to evaluating oceanfront condos before you buy. You'd like to invest in an oceanfront condo at a beach resort. I'd like to show you how they make profit and break down all their expenses so you understand how they operate, how they appreciate over time, and how to choose the right property manager for your goals. I'd also like to let you know what your HOA includes, how the location best services the tourist booking your unit, how your tourist can navigate the area to the best attractions, restaurants, and local events. I'd like to give you a market report on the resort that you're checking out today so that you make savvy investment decisions. And if you stay tuned until the end, I'll show you my top picks for the units that have appreciated the most in our market or generated the most gross rental income. So no matter if you're a first-time investor, a seasoned professional transitioning into the real estate game, or simply a casual investor who wants to buy an oceanfront condo to rent out while you're not using it for vacation. Whether you've got 15% to pay down because you're financing or you're a cash buyer, if it's an oceanfront condo you're after, you'll be better because I'm aiming to give you a 10 times return on your time for watching this video to the end. Evaluating homeowners associations, HOAs, before buying an oceanfront condo are especially crucial because this can impact your living experience, the living experience of your guest, as well as the financial obligations you're going to have while owning that property. Here are a few steps that you can take to evaluate an HOA. Now, the very first thing you're going to do, guys, is review the documents. You want to see all of the documents pertaining to the HOA. We're talking about the covenants, conditions, and restrictions. That's also known as your CC&R document. You're going to want to see the bylaws, the meeting minutes. You're going to want to see any rules and regulations, the financial statements, the budget. You're also going to want to know any reserve study that might have been done. There are lots of documents, and the best thing to do is reach out to your broker and make sure that you get copies of those that you can personally review before making that purchase. The next thing that you're going to do is assess the financial health through those financial statements and budgets provided to you by your broker, guys. You're going to check for things like reserve funds. You're going to look over the operating budget. You're also going to want to check for any past due collections or any pending or future special assessment. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because this is the fastest growing area out of the 150 most populated areas in the entire United States for the last 3 years in a row, according to U.S. News and World Report. This helps to insulate our market from many of the ups and downs that the rest of our nation's real estate market experiences. This can help you have a more stable rental property. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because they have a tremendous upside when compared to money market accounts and the stock market, due to the appreciation they earn and the potential of higher annual yields through their gross rental income when compared to these other investments. Money market accounts and the stock market don't have the upside of added appreciation. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because while our prices have risen and have held their value, we're also much cheaper than other places like Florida. Where else can you go and find an oceanfront condo for as little as $100,000? If you're getting into the real estate game or expanding your current portfolio, the bang for your buck is sitting right on the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina oceanfront. Now, in my opinion, a good rule of thumb to look for when it comes to reserve funds is an HOA that's stashing aside at least 10% of the monthly dues every single month. So if your HOA fee monthly is $500, they're stashing aside $50 from every single unit every single month in reserves. Now, if you find one that's stashing aside 20%, that's $100 out of that $500 monthly fee each month, then you're really doing well. And I think that you're with an HOA that is going to fare well when navigating the economic challenges that come when running an oceanfront resort. Insurance coverage, that's what you want to handle next, guys. You have to verify the extent and adequacy of the HOA's insurance. You want to make sure that they have general liability insurance, you want to make sure they have property insurance, and that they have director and officers liability insurance. Now, that's also known as D&O insurance. Now, that brings me to a story recently in our market, guys. There were some HOA members that are being sued, and I bet you right now they are thankful that they have D&O insurance if in fact they do have it. So that stuff does happen. If an HOA member fails to perform their obligations as they should, that insurance could definitely come in handy. So you want to make sure that the insurance that the HOA have is comprehensive enough to handle the potential risk of operating and managing an oceanfront condo. All right, let's talk through maintenance and upkeep. Now, guys, this is a big one because this is going to help determine the quality of the resort that your guests are staying at. You know, you want your guests to have a wonderful experience. You want there to be no issues. You want everything to be repaired and fixed and enhanced as best as possible so that you can have repeat guests renting your unit year after year. So maintenance and upkeep is crucial. Now, you want to assess the HOA's track record in maintaining and repairing the common areas, the exterior of the building, landscaping, and the on-site amenities. Now, this is also going to include, any seawalls or beach access points. But I do want to draw your attention back to the amenities. A lot of the oceanfront resorts in our market have many amenities, which obviously draw our tourists to rent these units. You want to make sure that they are well maintained and that the upkeep is not interrupting your guest stay at the resort during the peak season times. In my opinion, it's best to find a resort that doesn't allow any kind of major projects during those peak season months, so that way your guests aren't inconvenienced. The reserve fund study is going to help you evaluate the long-term capital needs of the HOA and determine whether or not there's enough reserves to handle the upcoming repairs and replacement costs that are going to be needed by the resort. If you can get your hands on a reserve fund study, guys, I don't always see them included in the associated documents. This is a very, very important document because it's going to let you know the financial position and kind of the road ahead financially for the HOA, because there are going to be upcoming repairs. There are going to be replacement costs. I was just looking at documents from a resort earlier today. They're replacing all 6 elevators for, I want to say it was $2 million. So guys, it's important to make sure that you're aware of the upcoming projects and kind of what the next 5 years, 10 years might look like, and to make sure that that HOA has the reserves funds in place to weather the necessary operating and maintenance cost of that resort. Because if they don't, you're going to be paying it in special assessments. The reserve fund helps to offset the cost of these expenditures. So let's say that they've got in the bank $1 million, but they're issuing a $2 million they're issuing a $1 million special assessment. Let me give you an example of how those reserve funds work. Let's say there's $2 million in the reserve fund at the HOA for the resort that you're interested in. Well, if they come in contact with a repair that needs to be done that's $3 million, they're most likely going to use their $2 million towards it and then charge a special assessment for the remaining amount. So when you're checking those reserve funds, it's going to let you know if there's the capability to cover the expense in its entirety, or if they're going to offset some of that expense and then you're going to pay a special assessment for the rest. In my opinion, the reserve fund is one of the most important factors in evaluating the HOA financial statements and budget to know kind of what position you're in when you buy into that oceanfront resort. The rules and regulations. You need to understand the rules and regulations regarding property use, noise restrictions, your pet policy. You're going to have other things like architectural guidelines. Let's say that, you can't put in a wall, or you can put in a wall. I mean, there's numerous restrictions and rules that you're going to need to make sure that you're aware of, because these are going to be impacting not only your potential lifestyle if you're going to be living there, the lifestyle of your guest possibly, and as well as your investment plan. So it's going to be pretty important to know, for example, if there are rental restrictions on that unit. Because if you're planning to rent that unit out, for short-term rentals to tourists, which pretty much all the oceanfront condos in our market do allow for that. But if for some reason they did not, then that would be pretty important information. Or let's say you couldn't do long-term rentals, whatever it is. But you need to make sure that you know the rules and regulations for your specific oceanfront condo resort before you buy, so that your investment isn't negatively impacted because of a false assumption that you thought, I thought I could do this. I thought I could put a wall in and remodel, or, I thought I could come in and do construction during peak season and, change this out. And maybe you can't do those things. So very important to understand those rules and regulations. You want to know about the community reputation. Guys, it's important to engage with current residents or neighbors to best understand how the HOA management has done so far, to also understand, what the community atmosphere is really like there. Is it really stiff? Is it pretty lenient? Stuff like that. And then you also want to know any kind of issues or disputes that could be going on that might not actually be mentioned in the meeting minutes. You can find out some insider information, basically. Those are super important. Now, in the past, I recently had an investor client that purchased over at the Meridian Resort, and he joined or talked to people on Facebook from an online group there. And he got in with people that are current owners, found out all about the things that were going on there at the resort, and he ended up purchasing. And I would say in large part, the community reputation, his exchange and interaction with the current owners probably aided a lot in his confidence to make that purchase there. So get and glean as much information as you can. Add people on Facebook. See if you can join, a group there at the resort. Definitely use the online forums to your advantage to get the information that you need before you make your oceanfront condo purchase. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because you can enjoy and increase the passive income of your oceanfront condo through the 20 to 22 million tourists that visit the number 2 vacation destination on the East Coast each year. Not only can you enjoy the equity paid for by visiting tourists, but you can also anticipate the over 100% appreciation experience at many of the oceanfront resorts in our market during the recent decade. I believe you should invest in oceanfront condos in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because you can depreciate them, reducing your overall tax burden, keeping more money for you and your loved ones, and ensuring unnecessary taxes aren't paid. This is a big one, management quality, guys. You definitely want to assess the HOA management company as well as the board of directors for their responsiveness to handling issues, to doing repairs, to handling things that are brought to their attention. Now, you want to look for any kind of conflict of interest, any kind of legal disputes, or any kind of mismanagement. These things are going to be, red flags for you. You'll find them in the meeting minutes. For the most part, you should be able to gather that information as you read through the meeting minutes, so long as the secretary is taking adequate notes. You can pretty much get a general or overall tone of what's going on and the mindset, in my opinion, of the HOA and their responsiveness to issues and to future projects. That kind of parlays me into competence, guys. You want to make sure that you are buying into a resort that has an HOA board that is competent. You want to look for the mindset that's governing the board in the meeting minutes. You can generally figure out how responsive they are. You can kind of look at the setup of their meeting minutes and see, maybe even the quality of their work just in how things are structured, how things are recorded. You really want to be on top of making sure that you have an HOA board that's protecting and preserving your asset, your oceanfront condo, as they make decisions. There are a few, indicators, in my opinion, when you look through those meeting minutes that would tell you things like, okay, well, they don't allow construction during the peak season. Wow, that's awesome, because they're going to protect the guest stay to ensure that those guests return. That's going to look out for your bottom line. Things like that in the meeting minutes. Look for those kinds of things. See the responsiveness and the responsive questions that are asked by board members, and see, how the HOA president handled and responded to certain things. You definitely can find a lot of that information out if you'll just stop to look through the meeting minutes. All right, let's talk through future assessments and projects, guys. You want to make sure that you're inquiring about any kind of upcoming renovation, construction projects, any kind of major projects that are going to be impacting your financial obligations. Because you want to look at those projects, you want to get an idea of how much they're going to cost, what the special assessment fee would be to you if the reserves aren't able to cover it, and then what the board's plan is for issuing and getting those projects paid for. Are they going to be using special assessments? Are they going to be using the reserve funds? Is it going to be a combination of the two? Have they depleted their current reserve funds and they're not going to be using those at all to offset the expenses, and therefore are going to charge you a special assessment? That information is pretty important because it's going to be impacting your bottom line, your projected profitability at the end of the year. Now, you always want to check into the legal compliance, guys. You want to ensure that the HOA is compliant with all state and local laws. We're talking about simple things like zoning or environmental regulations. Now, there are a few things that you have to look for in our market. We do have something called the Vacation Rental Act, where, oceanfront condos, owners, sellers, and buyers have to honor 90 days worth of vacation rentals that are on the books. Now, that doesn't necessarily pertain to the environment, but we do have something called the Beachfront Act, and there are various disclosures and that must be signed at closing when the transfer of ownership takes place as part of that deal. For more information on the Beachfront Act or the Vacation Rental Act, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to get you copies of those documents so that you can review them. Now, here is your action list. You want to make sure that your HOA has had what's called a certified audit. You want to make sure that their financials have been audited by a CPA, a certified public accountant. Now, that's not always the case. So when you get that, though, you are making sure that an actual professional has reviewed those financials and that they are in good standing. They are in some kind of proper working order. So always look for that. Then you want to make sure that the resort does not allow any kind of construction during the peak season. You don't want to upset your guests. You don't want to impact your bottom line. You want your guests happy, not frustrated because they can't use an elevator or they can't, because they can't get in a pool or whatnot. You want repeat business. So make sure that your resort doesn't allow any construction during the peak season. Next, you want to make sure that the reserves are enough to offset the special assessment expenses if there are some. Again, if you have a special assessment for, if you have an upcoming project for $1 million and the reserves are only $500,000, there's probably a good chance that you're going to pay the difference in special assessments. You want to look out for that. Then finally, if you're buying into a resort with major projects, you're going to want to make sure that you get a bargain. Let's get inside unit number 1126. All right, guys, as soon as you walk in, there's a bedroom right to your left. As you can see here, flat screen TV, its own closet, and a Jack and Jill bathroom. You can see here, tub shower combo. Nice vanity, granite countertops. And it connects right into the next bedroom, closet on the right, queen size beds, as you can see, flat screen TV, and your own private balcony. It's a nice little nook, and it does have its own ocean view. Moving right along, we're going to come right into the foyer. There's a closet straight ahead. There's also stackable washer dryer, and then a gorgeous kitchen here with its own island, as you can see. And we're going to loop around and hit the third bedroom, which has its own bathroom, tub shower combo, closet to the right. Again, two nice queen size beds, as you can see, flat screen TV. Now this balcony connects to the master and the living room. I don't want to take you that way just yet. I want you to see the rest of this beautiful 4-bedroom unit. Come through here, as you can see, dining room area, open concept, flows right into the living room, flat screen TV. This is the balcony that connects both the original room that I was just in, there's its entryway, and also takes you into the master, which we'll see in just a moment. Here's your master bedroom. Wow, look at that, guys. Nice king size bed. And your own bathroom. Huge vanity. Tub shower combo, as you can see. And this is your moneymaker, guys. This is what all the fuss is about. This massive and huge balcony right here. Again, connects to the living room. Again, connects also to one of the other bedrooms. As you can see, the view is amazing. This is what your tenants are paying top dollar for. That ocean view from this very large balcony. Make sure that you use that to your advantage and say, hey, listen, I'm buying this property. I'm going to have to pay $15,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 in special assessments. I want something off the purchase price. You've been using this property. You've been enjoying it. You've gotten all that use out of it. I don't want to have to pay for your fun time. Now, amenities do include both indoor and outdoor pools, water park, fitness center, on-site dining, direct beach access, meeting spaces, laundry facilities, free Wi-Fi, concierge services, as well as parking services. Make sure that you use that to your advantage and say, hey, listen, I'm buying this property. I'm going to have to pay $15,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 in special assessments. I want something off the purchase price. You've been using this property. You've been enjoying it. You've gotten all that use out of it. I don't want to have to pay for your fun time. Now, on the flip side of that, if you are in fact purchasing in an HOA that has several special assessments going on, it might be smarter as an investor to wait until the special assessments are done, if you can't get a bargain, and purchase them after, in the next 2 or 3 years, after all the special assessments are done on the property. This way, somebody else has paid for the special assessments, and you come in, a year after they're all completed, and you don't have to worry about any upcoming special assessments. Most likely, or for the most part, you might have mitigated your chances of having to pay a ton of dues if they've just done a slew of work to the property. All in all, you can minimize the risk and surprises associated with owning an oceanfront condo if you will simply evaluate the HOA before making this purchase. Finding an HOA that has a certified audit of its financials is crucial when purchasing an oceanfront condo. Finding a resort that does not allow for construction during the peak season is crucial for making sure that your guests are satisfied and ensuring to the highest degree repeat business for your oceanfront units. I've been waiting for, and one of the most exciting parts of the video. Let's break down your projected gross rental income and all your expenses for both a cash and financing purchase so that you understand how operating an oceanfront condo impacts you financially. And then I'll give you my top resort picks based on which resorts have appreciated the most and have the best projected profitability. What is the projected profitability for paying with cash versus using financing? All right, guys, let's talk gross rental income. As far as paying with cash goes, in 2023, this 4-bedroom unit did bring in $104,400.12. Now, if using a property manager that only charges 10%, your expense should be $10,440.01, which brings you to a subtotal of $93,960.11 after your property management fees are paid. Now, with estimated taxes based on 2020 at $5,316.35, cleaning services based on 27 bookings at $250 per cleaning brings you to $6,750, and annualized HOA dues at $31,080, your estimated expenses are $45,146.35. Now, subtracting from your subtotal after property management fees of $93,960.11 for your total expenses of $45,146.35, your projected profitability is a whopping $50,813.76. People are making money with oceanfront condos. Let's talk through paying with financing, guys. As of 2023, again, that gross rental income for unit 1126, a 4-bedroom oceanfront unit here, was $104,400.12 in gross rental income. Using a property manager that charges 10% for managing that property, that brings you to an expense of $10,440.01 in property management fees, bringing you to a subtotal of $93,960.11 after property management fees are paid. Now, at a purchase price of $590,000, your 15% down payment is $88,500. Assuming an 8.24 interest rate for 30 years, with a down payment, again, of that 15%, your principal and interest does total $46,668. Now, with estimated taxes based on 2020 at $5,316.35, cleaning services, again, based on 27 bookings at $250 per cleaning, bring you to $6,750, and your annualized HOA dues at $31,080. Your estimated expenses are $89,814.35. Now, subtracting from your subtotal, again after property management fees, of $93,960.11 for your total estimated expenses of $89,814.35, your projected profitability is $4,145.76. Guys, the Ocean Reef 4-bedroom condo is one of those rare unicorns that you can finance and have a projected profitability. Now, here is my top 5 for cash on cash return. And for those of you that don't know what cash on cash return is, that's where you take the net amount, your profitability in the unit, and then you divide that by the initial capital it took you to get into that purchase, into that investment. So guys, We have number 1 on the list, Ocean Reef Resort 4-bedroom, 18% cash on cash return. Sea Mist Resort Efficiency Unit and Ocean View Unit had a 15% cash on cash return. Now, Sea Mist Resort Efficiency Oceanfront also had a 15% cash on cash return. Holiday Pavilion Resort Efficiency had a 13% cash on cash return. And then finally, your Sandy Beach Resort 1-bedroom had a 10% cash on cash return. Here are my top 5 picks for those of you playing the appreciation game in Oceanfront Condos right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. You have Caravel Tower that came in at $89,887. That's 206% appreciation. You have Ocean One Resort, 3-bedroom, had appreciation to the tune of $255,634. That's 100% appreciation. You got Holiday Sands Resort, 1-bedroom, had appreciation to the tune of $131,647. That's 144% in appreciation. Guys, Sandy Beach Resort, 2-bedroom, had appreciation to the tune of $270,000. Guys, that's 169% in appreciation. Now, finally, we have Sandy Beach Resort, your 3-bedroom unit, appreciated $273,500. Guys, that's 109% in appreciated value. The good news is that you made it to the end of the video. Now, if you click the link that's popping up on your screen, this next video, I'll show you an oceanfront resort that has $100,000 condos that are generating $16,865 in projected profit. You better click now.